All right, hello everybody. KVU Chief Meteorologist Hunter Williams here with you. We have a quick update on what everybody's watching, which is our Arctic cold front coming in for this upcoming weekend. Saturday will still be ahead of the front this weekend. Highs will be in the 60s, but by Sunday, which is January 19th, this Arctic air will be streaming into central Texas, and the first half of next week now looks just about guaranteed, at least as far as our central Texas forecast is concerned, to bring our coldest weather so far of the winter. So that being said, we will get into all of the details here. So here are just kind of the headlines that we'll get into the nitty-gritty. Coldest air so far of the season, looking increasingly likely. Arctic air will get here on Sunday, which is January 19th, and it will continue through at least the first half of next week. So through at least Wednesday, January 22nd. Some model data says maybe it sticks around even into the end of next week, but for now, confidence is high at least through Wednesday. What we have in the forecast is very cold weather. Very cold mornings with hard freezes in the teens and 20s with wind chills that could be even colder. We're talking maybe even single-digit wind chills for parts of our area. So hard freeze preps, we're definitely going to need that. The part of our forecast, though, that remains pretty uncertain, it's the potential for wintry precip. Snow, freezing rain, sleet, any of that mess. It is a possibility. In fact, as of today, an increasing possibility, but we're still not really in the time frame where we can lock anything in. We are just watching trends closely, but I do have some updated model data. We'll go through all of that here in just a moment. In the meantime, 6 to 10 day temperature outlook. This is January 20th through the 24th, so the first half of next week basically. And look, it's a guarantee now. I don't think you need to be a meteorologist to understand this map. This dark blue here, this is like the bottom of the scale. So a certainty basically of far below average temperatures here in central Texas. Now, during the same time frame where we have this cold air in place, here's our 6 to 10 day precip outlook, which is highlighting especially South Texas, but even into areas of South Central Texas and the Austin area for slightly above normal precipitation. So basically what we'll be watching is to see if a little coastal storm system can develop and throw moisture into this cold air mass that's going to be in place. So this is not going to be a situation where it's like, okay, is it all rain or is it snow? The cold air is going to be here. We are confident in that. It's a matter of, does any precipitation develop? That's more so what we're watching rather than what's the precip type going to be. So here's the timing for when the Arctic air is going to be here. Honestly, our front moves through late Saturday into Saturday night. So by Sunday, I think the core of the Arctic air is still a little north of here, but we're going to be chilly already by Sunday. Then we keep going into early next week. Here's Monday morning, Arctic air dipping a toe down into Texas. And by the time we get Monday afternoon, Tuesday morning, Tuesday afternoon, the Arctic air is here. So what we have in the forecast in terms of afternoon highs is this. 40 starting on Sunday. And by the way, I guess we don't want to skip over the forecast the next few days. We have a weak system coming in tonight, so a small, drizzle and shower chance. But then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, our temperatures are actually briefly trending warmer. Highs will be in the 60s, maybe even close to 70 on Friday. But then by Saturday night, front is through, so we are cold already by Sunday morning. Sunday afternoon, high temperatures 45. Monday afternoon, high temperatures 37. Tuesday afternoon, high temperatures 34. And I'll tell you, according to some of the model data, even these numbers are a little bit conservative. Mornings obviously going to be much, much colder than that in the 20s and in the teens. So I find this to be a helpful way just to break down what is and is not in the forecast. Arctic air is on the way. Again, what is likely is the coldest air so far of the winter. And for us here in our KVU area, that means basically colder than the weather that we had last week. I think it's actually going to be a fair bit colder than that, and the duration is also going to be longer. What is possible is some sort of wintry precipitation early next week. We are mainly watching Monday and Tuesday. It's a possibility, not a likelihood yet. It's a possibility. What is not likely is a repeat of February 2021. So anytime we have some sort of big winter weather event here in Central Texas, we like to reiterate that the magnitude and duration of the cold not even remotely comparable. I'm not saying it's not going to be impactful, but we just don't have anything close to a repeat of February 2021 in our forecast. Okay, so it's going to get cold. We've gotten that far. What about this chance for wintry precipitation and snow? Here's the model comparison. As of today, both our GFS American model and our European model, both of them are showing some sort of wintry precipitation, now to varying degrees and at slightly different times, but this is early next week that we're watching, mainly Monday and Tuesday of next week. So GFS model says by 6 p.m. January 21st, we could have widespread snow over parts of our KVU area and much of Texas. European model, again, timing's a little different, but by 6 a.m. morning of January 21st, has widespread snow, wintry mix, even down to parts of like the Texas coast, and then rain back in the Gulf. So these models trending in the direction of a wetter solution today. But when we do winter weather forecasting, this is kind of like what we talked about months ago when we were in the hurricane season. You don't want to just look at one model run and say, all right, cool, that's what's going to happen. You want to look at trends, and then you want to look at probabilistic data. So the trends in both of these models to date, not just one run, but several consecutive runs, has been towards some sort of wintry precipitation. And then beyond that, we also start to look at the probabilistic output with what we call the ensembles. Now, this is kind of inside baseball. It's not really something that we would, talk about on TV, on a daily basis, but I actually think it's really helpful in this particular instance. So this is the European ensemble. So we show you the European model all the time, right? You know the computer model simulates the weather. We get it several times a day. What this is, the ensemble, it takes the European model and it tweaks the initial conditions a little bit. So it tweaks the weather data that it goes into the model for the model to start with. It tweaks that, then they run the model a bunch of different times from slightly different initial conditions. And what that does is now instead of one output, one model solution, it gives you a range of model outputs that encompass more of the uncertainty in the forecast. Does that make sense? So we're getting a range of outcomes that tell us where the uncertainty lies in the forecast. So according to the European ensemble model, these are the odds of 1 inch of snow early next week. The light blue, that's low, 10 to 30%. The darker blue here is medium. That would be 30 to 60%. And that's kind of the threshold that much of our KVU area is in. We don't have any of this high category yet, which would be, 60 to 100% chance. We don't have that just yet. As we get closer, obviously the model will speak with more certainty, but as of now, we're looking at about a 30 to 40% chance here in our KVU area. So in the same way that there's a European ensemble, tweaks the initial conditions, runs the Euro a bunch of times, GFS model, American model does the same thing. So I think this is probably the best way just to look at this. What are the odds of 1 inch of snow in Austin? European model says 40%, GFS model says 30%. These numbers will obviously fluctuate up or down depending on the way the forecast is trending. So if you're asking just for a one-word answer, is it going to snow next week? I don't know. There's a chance, about a 30 to 40% chance. We just need to watch the trends and the way the models are swinging over the next several days. So I think in the next 2 to 3 days, we'll be able to speak on this with more certainty. As of now, is there a chance there's snow or wintry precipitation? Yeah, there is a chance. Is it a guarantee? It's certainly not a guarantee. What is a guarantee is it's about to get really cold here in Central Texas and over much of our state. Just want to give you a snapshot of future wind chills. This is Tuesday morning next week at 7 a.m. This is the type of cold that we're talking about. Again, these are not the air temperatures. These are the wind chills. But this model, which is the European, says wind chills 12 degrees in Austin, and across the hill country, wind chills could be as low as the single digits. So hard freezes are in the forecast. I think bare minimum, we've got some of those cold weather advisories. Remember, we had a few of those last week. I think we'll have several of them, not for the rest of this week, but for the first half of next week. So here's our 7-day forecast. We'll spend some time on this, and then we'll let you go. And obviously, we're going to be doing these updates several times a day over the next several days as we fine-tune this. We've got a weak system coming in tonight into tomorrow morning. There's just a 10% lingering drizzle chance tomorrow morning. We clear to sunshine by the afternoon. Then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, our weather's actually pretty nice. Will be warmer, highs in the mid to upper 60s. By Saturday night, the front is through. So by Sunday morning, it's 30. That will be a freeze, but a relatively light freeze as the cold air is still working in. Sunday afternoon, the high is 45. On Monday, MLK Day, 24 is what we have in the forecast in the morning. These numbers are obviously for Austin, so outside of the city, especially in the hill country, it will be colder. I think upper teens are certainly a possibility. Wind chills, teens, single digits. And then the high temperature on Monday, 37. Now, again, we're still questioning, will there be any precipitation at all? So I'm not trying to speak on this with too much certainty, but if we do have some precipitation, it looks like it would be coming in by the late day on Monday and then continuing Monday night into Tuesday. So I've got a 20% chance for, a wintry mix is what we'll call it for now, coming in late Monday into Monday night. And then Tuesday, I've got 22 in the forecast in the morning. So again, you get the idea. This is not one of those situations where it's like, will it be snow or rain? I think if we have precipitation, it's probably going to be wintry precipitation just based on how cold the numbers are. I just am not ready to say with certainty that we will have precipitation at all, but I have increased now to a 30% chance for some sort of a wintry mix on Tuesday of next week. Again, 20s in the morning, high temperature. I have only 34 in the forecast on Tuesday, and if we had some sort of wintry precip, it's I would say likely that this number will go even colder, where maybe we even stay below freezing all day long. And then again, once we go beyond this, I still think Wednesday morning is very cold. It's possible that Wednesday morning next week could be our coldest morning altogether. The afternoon on Wednesday still looks cool. I think generally we'll start to trend a little bit warmer as we get into the back half of next week. But again, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, as of now, looks like the core of our cold weather, and this is what we currently have in the forecast. So that's what I've got for you for now. It's going to get cold. Our confidence in that is very high. I'm very confident that this will be our coldest air so far of the winter here in our KVU area. What I'm less confident on and what we'll need to fine tune is, will there be snow or any wintry precipitation? There's a chance for it. In fact, as of today, it's an increasing chance, but it's certainly not a guarantee. It's just something that we'll need to check back with frequently. So we just recommend, obviously, we hope you can watch KVU all the time, but just make sure you've got a touch point with the forecast. I'm posting on social media, Hunt_WX on Instagram, X. If you just search my name, Hunter Williams on Facebook. We're getting the forecast out there as frequently as humanly possible. We'll be doing these updates on KVU Plus and on YouTube, also several times a day. Then obviously we have all of our newscasts on KVU, the ABC affiliate here in Austin, Texas. You can watch those whenever you'd like as well. So I will sign off for now. You'll have a fantastic evening. Again, we'll keep you updated. And next up, we'll have our newscast at 10 o'clock right here on KVU.